It's Wednesday, May 31st, and this is now on HNN. A Waipahu man dies after a fishing charter vessel capsizes in waters off Alaska. His wife is one of 4 people still missing. A Big Island mother has been charged after she allegedly stabbed her 9-year-old daughter in Pahoa.
Unless something changes on the bill, absolutely, I'm triple no.
With the default deadline just days away, the U.S. House will vote on a deal to raise the debt ceiling.
Investigating UFOs. I'm Danya Backus with a historic public meeting to discuss the mysteries of the sky.
These stories and more coming up on This Is Now.
Aloha and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for watching. This is Now. We got Mark in for Dylan today. We begin with breaking news this afternoon. A Waipahu man is confirmed dead and his wife remains missing after their charter boat sank in waters off Alaska. Alaska state officials identify the man as 57-year-old Mari Agkuili of Waipahu. His body was recovered just before crews located the 30-foot vessel near the town of Sitka, about 100 miles from Juneau. His wife Danielle and 3 others, including the boat's captain, are still reported missing.
Now, the Coast Guard had been searching since Sunday after the vessel had not arrived at its destination. Teams searched 825 square miles over 20 hours before suspending the search last night. We're tracking this story on HawaiiNewsNow.com. Now, in our other top story, the bipartisan deal to raise the debt ceiling and avoid a default on the nation's debt goes to a full House vote today.
That's right. It's going to take the centrists from both parties to pass the bill because some Republican and Democratic lawmakers have already said they're going to vote against it. HNN's Washington correspondent Brendan Cullerton has more on what we can expect.
Well, Ashley, this package is expected to pass tonight. It might take a little bit longer than people expect because things always tend to run late here in Washington. The big question is how many Democrats are going to be required to pass this out of the House? This is a package that's way more popular with moderates in both parties than people on the fringes, and there have been way more outspoken Republicans saying that they won't vote for this. So it will depend on how many Republicans vote for this as to how people view Speaker Kevin McCarthy's leadership moving forward.
For those Republicans and Democrats on the fringes, what are they saying why they won't support this bill?
Well, one of the big issues that the more progressive Democrats have is energy, green energy policies. This would actually change the permitting process to get certain energy deals through. It would also help construct a natural gas pipeline from West Virginia, Joe Manchin's state, to Virginia. So they don't like some of the energy components. Republicans just say this isn't cutting enough spending. Really, this deal only binds the government for 2 years before the debt ceiling is back in play. So it clears it through 2025, but then there is absolutely nothing binding in this deal. So it talks about 10 years of spending cuts, but most of that are just words on a paper. The actual laws only bind the government for 2 years, and that's something some of the Freedom Caucus Republicans say just isn't good enough for them.
And Brendan, what could this vote mean for Speaker McCarthy's future?
Well, I mentioned that the big question is how many Democrats, how many Republicans vote for this bill. If more Democrats vote for it than Republicans, some on the Hill have said that could lead to voting to oust Speaker McCarthy from that position. So Matt Gaetz said that would be a black letter on his resume. I spoke with some Freedom Caucus members yesterday who said they're not ready to go there yet, but they're going to think about it after this bill's passage. So we do think the bill is going to pass, but if it happens to pass with more Democratic votes than Republicans, you could end up seeing a new Speaker of the House.
Now, Brendan, assuming the House does pass this bill, when can we expect the Senate to take action?
Well, they need to take action very quickly because Monday, the 5th, is the date that Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen says the country could default on its debt. Leadership in the Senate has instructed their members to be ready to vote on Friday. It is widely expected that this will pass the Senate relatively easier. It is viewed as being the big hurdle tonight to get it past the House of Representatives with the conventional wisdom, not always right here on the Hill, but the conventional wisdom that the Senate would pass it relatively quickly on Friday, get it to Biden's desk, and get this thing passed before that Monday deadline.
And Brendan, say the bill does not pass the House today. Is there still time to make changes to it before the default deadline?
There is, but they would have to happen very quickly. There will be very fast panic setting in if this does not pass the House. Now, they do have another day, so they could theoretically revise it tonight, pass it tomorrow, get it in the hands of the Senate on Friday, maybe even with some input from senators in some amendments that might be coming tonight. But the clock is ticking. There's only 5 days left, so every day that it doesn't happen puts us closer and closer to default.
All right, we'll be watching this very carefully. HNN's Washington correspondent Brendan Fullerton. We appreciate the time, Brendan. Thank you. Now, if the debt ceiling deal passes, people who have federal student loans will have to start making payments again. The Biden administration paused payments during the pandemic and has extended it 8 times. But a provision in the debt ceiling agreement says the pause will end in late August. 44 million people will have to resume payments, and there is some concern the process may not go smoothly. Millions of borrowers could have a different servicer handling their loans since the last time they made a payment. Student loan experts recommend people reaching out to their loan servicer as soon as possible to make sure their next payment gets to the right place on time.
A Big Island mother is facing charges for allegedly stabbing her 9-year-old daughter and trying to assault a police officer. Court documents say 34-year-old Calla Weddington violated a child custody order when she pulled her daughter out of school last Wednesday and drove her to a home on Lehua Drive in Pahoa. A responding officer arrested Weddington after he says she lunged at him with a knife, and authorities later found her daughter with multiple knife wounds to her hand and chest. She was released from a hospital and is back with her father. Weddington remains in custody, and a judge has ordered her to get a mental fitness exam. The search continues for 85-year-old Ewa Beach man Frank Pangilinan, and HPD is seeking the public's help finding him. He was last seen Monday, May 15th at about 3 p.m. crossing Kailua Boulevard toward the Star Advertiser building. There's been no sign of him since. He suffers from dementia. His daughter says they found his vehicle parked at the Kapolei Home Depot with no signs of a break-in.
Michael Hirokawa is a free man, acquitted in the high-profile trial of a brutal attack in 2020. The 34-year-old was facing a possible sentence of life in prison.
The jury in this case find the defendant not guilty. Dated May 30th, 2023.
An emotional Hirokawa hugged his defense attorney and then his mother, declining to comment on the 4-week trial. The case hinged on Hirokawa's claim that the woman he met at a hostess bar drugged him, causing him to become violent, leaving her with serious injuries. Prosecutors argued that Hirokawa pretended not to remember much of what happened, but his attorney says the jury made the right call.
It's been very difficult. It's been a tough 2.5 years. He's been under house arrest, really only being able to leave his house to meet with me, go to the doctor. It's been tough, but he was very resilient. I'm sure he's happy that the jury saw things the way they did, and he's hoping to get back to his regular life.
when you're looking at the other side of the coin, when he was out there at a club meeting someone, just fortunately, we live in a place where this jury wasn't swayed by the injuries. This verdict was based on the evidence and what was believable in front of them. And Alan Conchiro put it all in front of them.
In a statement, State Attorney General Ann Lopez said, quote, "While we are extremely disappointed in the verdict, we respect the process and thank the jury for its service," end quote. Hirokawa was acquitted of attempted murder, sexual assault, and kidnapping.
The man accused of dousing his ex-girlfriend with acid will wait in the federal detention center for his trial to start. Court documents show that 21-year-old Paul Cameron was being threatened at OCCC. He asked the judge to be allowed to move to the federal prison, and the judge granted the request. Bail remains at $2 million, and trial is set for July. The wait could soon be over for hundreds of homesteaders who want to buy or build a home in West Hawaii. It's been nearly a decade since the federal government stopped backing loans on property within the Waikoloa Maneuver area. 100,000 acres of land riddled with bombs left behind by the military after World War II. Now officials say cleanup efforts at a small site in Waimea are nearly complete. HNN Investigates reporter Allison Blair has the latest.
This is Pu'ukapu. For years, scores of Department of Hawaiian Homeland beneficiaries have patiently waited for the land to be deemed safe enough so they can get a loan to build or buy. Its rolling hills and lush pasture land make it one of the most picturesque places to build a home on Hawaii Island. But for many Native Hawaiians, lost military munitions hidden within this rural community have brought dreams of owning a house here to a halt.
You work with these families directly. How is it impacting them personally?
Well, they're excited because they have the land, they want to build their home, and then after that, I have to tell them financing is not available because of the bomb zone, the bomb ordinance area. A no further action letter is needed to provide with your financing to HUD so they insure the loan.
How many people do you estimate that this affects?
There are 468 lessees here on the Big Island in Pu'ukapu.
The 11,000-acre site sits on the eastern edge of the Waikoloa Maneuver area, a swath of land in West Hawaii extending from the popular Waikoloa resorts to Waimea and beyond. During the height of World War II, an estimated 50,000 Marines trained for combat here, battering the land with grenades, mortars, and bombs. 8 decades and numerous cleanups later, finding old munitions is relatively common. Blue dots pinpoint all the places unexploded ordnance have been discovered. The relics still energized, all with the potential to maim or kill. Over the years, at least 4 people have died. The Army Corps of Engineers is in charge of the latest cleanup. 2 decades in, officials confirm less than 1% of the Waikoloa Maneuver area is safe enough for the government to want to sign off on a loan.
Some people have been waiting since 2014. What have they done in the meantime?
Just wait. They keep waiting.
Any information would be helpful.
Then last Tuesday, some homesteaders got news they've waited years for.
Because of where it happens to sit and how it was not used, went through a little bit faster process.
In a community meeting, officials announced work at Pu'ukapu is complete.
We found no evidence of military use of munitions out there.
Government says all that's left now is paperwork, but exactly when those documents will be filed isn't clear. Advocates pushed to nail down a date, saying the community's waited long enough.
How about before Father's Day? I really can't commit to it. What I can commit to, though, is this is getting a lot of attention to make sure that this is done as expeditiously as possible.
This is a good night. This is a win for us. I've been waiting a long time to hear the no further action letter is on its way.
Now families who've been forced to put their plans for a home in Pu'ukapu on hold can start moving forward.
It's just a matter of time before everyone who's been waiting to build homes can.
Overall, the cleanup is still far from being over. With the completion of Pu'ukapu, only about 12% of the Waikoloa Maneuver area has been thoroughly swept. The Army Corps of Engineers estimates work to remove bombs from the remainder of the land won't end until at least 2053. Allison Blair, Hawaii News Now.
The state has agreed to significantly reduce a fine against a Waikiki Beach concession. The owner of Duke's Lagoon, Chris Sanger, and his workers were caught on video placing chairs on Duke Kahanamoku Beach in 2021. It's illegal to preset chairs that aren't already rented by customers because it takes up beach space that's meant for the public. Sanger's attorney argued the fine was excessive because it was during the pandemic when few people were at the beach. Last week, the land board voted to reduce the fine from $65,000 to $19,000.
There's a proliferation of commercial activities on our ocean waters.
I believe it was just several days. And so, my client's position is that was extremely unfair. There's not a lot of enforcement regarding pre-setting or putting chairs down to reserve space on the beach. And so he felt that he was unfairly targeted.
Last week, the land board voted to allow the reduced fine from $65,000 to $19,000.
Another contender is seeking the Republican nomination for the 2024 presidential race. Former Vice President Mike Pence is scheduled to announce his intent to run next week. Sources familiar with his plans say he'll make it official on June 7th in Iowa, and he'll also hold a town hall. He enters a growing field that includes Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and former President Donald Trump, with whom he worked with as VP.
All right, let's take you live outside on this Aloha Wednesday. Beautiful day in Honolulu, lots of sunshine, blue skies, and those puffy cumulus clouds. Temperature is 81 degrees. We are halfway through the work week. Let's see what Guy Hagi has in store for you in your First Alert forecast.
We have a few showers this morning, mainly for a handful of windward spots. There's a pool of moisture up to the north. Really not a lot of rain out there. However, by this afternoon, there's a chance for some heavy downpours for the Big Island as well as parts of Maui. We could see some scattered showers. And then we'll see a few more showers overnight and early morning tomorrow. And then after that, as we head into the weekend, things dry up significantly, it looks like. Not a whole lot of rain out there after that. So again, we're going to have a typical trade wind conditions through Sunday now. The trade winds have been extended through Sunday. There's a chance for heavy rainfall this afternoon as well as tomorrow afternoon, mainly for the east end of the state. The rest of us will see lots of sunshine with a few morning and overnight showers for those windward neighborhoods. And those winds running brisk and breezy through Sunday, and that means the air quality is going to be good. Humidity levels will be comfortable. However, with the lighter winds starting on Monday, it might be a little bit sticky to start the work week.
Well, all week long, Hawaii News Now is bringing you stories from Yakutat, Alaska, where the crew of the Hokulea is starting its heritage sail. Next month is the official launch of a 4-year Pacific-wide voyage. Our Mahealani Richardson shows us how Hawaiian and Alaska natives are connected.
You grab your gang together and just make sure you go through all the tricing lines, no mistakes, okay? Belly line off, let me know when you got it off.
Leaving the dock at Yakutat Bay, Alaska, Polynesian Voyaging Society President and Pole Master Navigator Nainoa Thompson leads with calculated intensity to make sure Hokulea and her crew are safe. While everyone is bundled up, Thompson wears his trademark rubber slippers. It's a short sail to a place called Sandy Beach for a welcoming ceremony. Every person on board has a task. For the crew, navigating through Alaska currents is a new experience.
It's so different. The current is very different. Its water is very challenging in a way. The weather changes really quickly, so we have to adjust.
Here we go. Inhale. Exhale. Even this reporter got the honor to help with the backbreaking job of steering and learning the ropes. The crew unwrapped Hokulea's giant sails to harness the power of the wind. It's a beautiful morning in Yakutat. Temperature 48 degrees. The wind chill goes down into the 30s. I can tell you that when the crew opened the sails of Hokulea, you could really feel its full glory. Close to shore, members of the Ganekwan clan began ceremonial protocol by asking who has come ashore.
From the areas of Moananui Akea, we are Napoya Hokulea. We are the Hawaiian people who are here. We are asking here for permission to come and learn from you and to share knowledge.
Once granted permission, the crew took a traditional canoe to the beach.
Ahi,
with Thompson leading the way with paddle in hand. On land, a coming together of Hawaiian and Alaska natives to celebrate the historical migration and settlement ties between the two cultures during the 1800s.
I still can't believe that we're here with canoe, and then all this time we put on this canoe to be ready. It was just worth it, everything is coming together.
Then a gift of warm blankets, symbolic of the warmth enveloping the crew. The last canoe arrival to Yakutat shores was around 1900. So Hokulea has given these Alaska natives an opportunity to practice this welcoming ceremony for the first time in more than a century.
It's an honor to us, and we're so happy. We've been looking forward to this, so happy.
Thank you so much.
After today's ceremony, the crew will take this Yakutat canoe back to the Hokulea and then sail back to the dock from Sandy Beach. Reporting from Yakutat, Alaska, I'm Mahealani Richardson, Hawaii News Now.
And you can catch more coverage on Hokulea's journey online and on our 5 and 10 p.m. newscasts on KGMB and KCHNL. All right, let's see what the internet is talking about today. NASA held a historic public meeting to discuss the mysteries of the sky. Danya Backus reports.
My gosh.
UFOs are real, but what really are they? NASA's newly formed 16-member panel is charged with figuring out how the space agency can use the tools of science to help the federal government understand what's going on in the sky and how it affects Earth.
The study of unidentified anomalous phenomena represents an exciting step forward in our quest to uncover the mysteries of the world around us.
NASA says citizens, commercial airline pilots, and the Department of Defense have reported at least 800 UAP sightings over the past 27 years.
Between 2 and 5% of those events display signatures that could be anomalous, defined as anything that is not readily understandable by the operator or the sensor, something that is doing something weird.
Experts say identifying a UAP is like finding a needle in a haystack, especially since there's a lot going on in the sky. On any given day, there are 45,000 airline flights and 184 weather balloon launches in U.S. airspace. There are also 1.6 million recreational or model planes and 880,000 registered drones.
And the environment that we fly in, space or, an atmospheric flight, very, very conducive to optical illusions.
The panel says while UAPs exist, there is no evidence they are extraterrestrial in origin.
We haven't found life beyond Earth yet, right? Let's be clear about this. We haven't found it yet, but we're looking.
A final report is expected by the end of July. Danya Backus, CBS News.
All right, well, the mysteries of the sky.
Yep.
Truly a sense of wonder with what we're seeing out there out in the space community.
Yeah, we're definitely not alone.
Uncharted territory.
Yeah.
Well, summer movie season is heating up. Let's take a look at what is in store. Rick Damigella gives us a preview.
Who do you think you are? Really?
June at the movies kicks off when Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse swings into theaters Friday.
For centuries, our kind has stayed hidden on Earth.
But not anymore, as the Maximals are ready for their robotic close-ups in Transformers Rise of the Beasts. The more than meets the eye machines stomp into theaters June 9th.
Hi.
I love you!
The Scarlet Speedster gets a big screen adventure in The Flash. The long-awaited superhero flick features not one, but 2 Batmen and speeds into theaters June 16th.
Junior stargazers and space cadets. Each year we celebrate Asteroid Day, commemorating September 23rd, 3007 BC, when the arid plains meteorite made Earth impact.
Wes Anderson's Asteroid City premiered at the Cannes Film Festival in May, opening in limited release June 16th, and making impact with theaters across the U.S. June 23rd.
I'm retiring.
Well, in that case, what are we drinking?
Same for the goddaughter.
Dad told me you found something on a train during the war. A dial that could change the course of history.
The Man in the Hat is back as Harrison Ford returns in Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. The 5th Indiana Jones big screen adventure arrives in theaters June 30th. Getting reserved seats in Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
Harrison Ford still going, man.
Oh my goodness, and what a stacked movie season we have to look forward to. I don't know though, consider me a movie snob because I'm looking forward to something from Christopher Nolan. I look out for more directors.
Right.
At my
Yeah, I
movie
like
taste.
Wes Anderson too. It's been a while since I've seen one of his movies.
And I'm still thinking about that Succession finale. All right?
Yes, that's right. Thank you for watching. This is Now, everyone. Mark and I will have more news coming up. First at 4, right here on KHNL.